Hello, everybody. My name is Roberto Bedoya. I'm the director of the Tucson Pima Arts Council in Arizona. That's surprising. I have a cold, so I may stumble through my presentation. And let's see, I'm supposed to hit the one on the right. So this is Pima County. This is where I live in Tucson in the blue. It is the largest county in Arizona. It's right there on the border. It is larger than the state of Connecticut. It's a home of two tribes, the Tolonatam Nation, Pasquayaqui tribe, which is in the city itself. The metro region is about 1 million people. 40% of the population is Latino, Native American. We're the 7th poorest metro region in the nation. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about belonging and its relationship to creative placemaking practices. Much of the national discourse on creative placemaking is caged in an understanding of its place as a built environment. And placemaking is much more than that. We assert that before you have places of belonging, you have to have a sense you belong. Before you have places of belonging, you must feel you belong to a community, a locale, or a place. The Arizona jaguar belongs to the Sonoran Desert. There's a troubling legacy of placemaking manifested in acts of disbelonging via displacement, removal, and containment. I mean, the history is long and horrible. I mean, we have to recall the development of Native American reservations was an act of placemaking. The Chinese Exclusionary Act of 1882, placemaking. The Japanese internment during World War II. And currently, what I'm experiencing in Tucson is the militarization of the border. So, in the city context, one often needs to be aware that before there's a vibrant street, one needs to understand the social dynamics on that street, the politics of belonging and disbelonging at work in civil society. Arizona politics are profoundly toxic. They illustrate a politics of disbelonging, focused primarily on brown folk. So you want my papers now? Is that what that is about? Against this toxic background, there is a story of belonging, the aesthetics and ethics of belonging in the Place Initiative, which is a platform that my colleagues myself at the Arts Council created 5 years ago called People and Arts, Culture and Engagement. So it's an engagement platform. To date, we have funded 53 place projects. The Place Initiative is about building the human capacity of people as placemakers through art practices that engage with personal memories, cultural histories, policies, cultural and public policies, politics, imagination, to enliven a sense of belonging within the participants and the community at large. So, some quick images, I think. This is about a play about the issue of women crossing the desert. There are about 200 people that die each year crossing the desert. A performance piece about the Border Patrol and racial profiling. So if you see the guy in the green, he's the guy that asks for your papers. Festival culture is a very important part of our community that celebrates the diversity and identity of our region. This was a writing project that dealt with, and photography that dealt with the refugee community that is growing in our community, and about the idea of constructing and articulating their civic identity. This is a project that was a training of community scholars that record and share stories of cross-cultural understanding, civic participation, and artistic practices. This is a youth project that explored the history of Chinese grocery stores in Tucson's various barrios. That's what happens. This is a neighborhood project that addressed the issue of spatial justice and contamination of the local groundwater, called the Barrio Sustainability Project. This is a community dance performance about water scarcity and the Sonoran Desert ecology. This is a participatory public art project about facilitate discussion about the issue of land use and transportation. So for me, and Mario, where are you? Here it is. Anyway, for me, the sovereignty of context. This is what kind of is the juice behind all of these projects that we fund. It really speaks to, it underscores a strong regional ethos associated with stewardship, cultural, civic, and ecological. It also animates agency in the sense that all of these projects sort of confront, engage, assert, or negotiate with power. It also kind of is comfortable with antagonisms. It's not a happy-face project. It really is about sort of learning how to work with tensions. I think for me, a bigger sort of frame, when I have to talk about the 53 projects at large, is I like to see it as a social movement of belonging, one that identifies and names a project, a community knot. It examines it and it prompts action. So they're all over the map, these projects. So I can't believe I'm there, 6 minutes, good. So I wasn't gonna show this slide, but I'm gonna show it now. How many of you know the word Wisquache? Just raise your hands. Very good, a handful, small handful. So in the Southwest, it describes sort of a Chicano aesthetics. It talks about how you make a style out of nothing. Most of you sort of maybe have seen a tire that's been turned into a flower pot. So this discussion about gentrification, which I hear a lot, and in my part of the world, it's not heavy, 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 because we're poor, and there's not a whole lot of capital. But we are experiencing what I like to call Wisquachification. So as the poor and middle class move out of the city, they're gonna Wisquachify. They're gonna make a style out of something. Nothing. So this is our mission, San Javier, and this is native wood carvings. And this is what's coming to your hood. Thank you.